Well, it was a disappointing start to the CONCACAF Gold Cup campaign for the Trinidad and Tobago senior men's football team. The Soca Warriors suffered a 5-0 defeat by the United States in their opening Group D match on Sunday. Adrian Lazar brings us the highlights.
After advancing to the final round of the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers, the Soca Warriors look to continue what has been a positive run when they met the United States at the PayPal Park Stadium in San Jose, California for their opening Group D match in the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup. It was a poor start from TNT, who sat back in the opening stages, inviting pressure from their U.S. counterparts.
Delivering for Ajiman, just wide.
The pressure would eventually pay off for the U.S. in the 16th minute when Jack McGlynn found Malik Tillman free in the box to give his team the 1-0 lead.
Tillman scores! The opening goal of the Gold Cup for the
TNT keeper Marvin Phillip did his best to keep the deficit at 1, preventing a goal on 2 occasions.
Now the free kick, McGlynn, the header saved by Phillip.
After a poor giveaway at the back by Alvin Jones, Diego Luna found Tillman, who made himself available to grab his and his team's second of the match. Mere minutes later, USA made it 3 when Luna got the better of Jones, to then have his shot deflected in the net by Patrick Ajiman.
Oh, was it actually?
3-0 to USA at half-time.
It seemed like it was off the defender.
TNT got their first notable chance in the 57th minute when Tyrese Spicer burst down the left wing, but his cross evaded the diving Dante Sealy. Substitute Nathaniel James tried to affect the game when he worked his way into a shooting opportunity, but his shot was off its mark. TNT's defense was exposed in the 81st minute when US substitute Brendan Harrison shaked off Sheldon Battle to then beat Marvin Phillip. 4-0 the score. James continued to be an attacking threat when he received a lovely long ball by Daniel Phillips, but his shot was struck straight at the US keeper. More poor defending from TNT at the back allowed Haji Wright to cruise his way into the box before making it 5-0 to the United States. And that was all she wrote. TNT opened their Gold Cup campaign with a 5-0 defeat, sending them to the bottom of Group D. The Soca Warriors will next face Haiti on Thursday. Adrian Lazar, TTT Sport.
A bad day at the office were the words used by head coach of the Trinidad and Tobago senior men's football team, Dwight York, after TNT's 5-0 defeat by the United States on Sunday in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. York suggested that there is a gap of expertise between his players and those at the international level. Adrian Lazar has more.
It wasn't the start Dwight York and the Soca Warriors imagined, as they lost their opening Group D match in the CONCACAF Gold Cup, 5-0 to the United States. TNT invited pressure from the first minute. That, along with poor defending, left the Soca Warriors down 3-0 at half-time, before eventually losing 5-0. TNT registered only 2 shots on target. Head coach Dwight York summed up the result.
Those are 2 gifts, and so at 1-0 we felt that we would have been in the game. And of course, yeah, it snowballed into, then from there on, we were always going to be playing catch up from that point on. I felt second half we did a little bit better, and of course created 1 and 2 chances, but the game was already over. And then when you reflect on, it's just a bad day at the office, I would say, and we need to put that behind us very quickly because there's 2 more games to go, and with 2 more games to go, certainly we got to win maximum points against Haiti, and that will be the intention going forward.
York went on to state that there is a lot of room for his players to grow to compete at the international level.
You can see when you play an international level, you got to be at a certain level. And as much as I praise my players as much as I can, and I will always support them in every sense of the way. Today we wasn't at the races, and it gives us an indication the gap at international level and to where some of my players are playing at the moment. We know there is still a lot of work to be done, and we will continue to work and try and close that gap as best as possible. But it's a clear indication that there is still a lot of work ahead of us to do. But you can certainly see the class in where we are at the moment as a country.
The head coach also suggested that the amount of matches played by his team recently affected their performance.
And maybe, there's a lot to ask for. We've been on the road for the past couple of weeks, from the Unity Cup all the way to the Caribbean, playing those games, traveling to Costa Rica. Maybe this was 1 too many games, but this is a learning experience for my team. They're very relatively young. There is some experience. The level that some of these players are playing, you know, you're asking them to step up from the level that they are to international football. This was an eye-opener for us, and realize that, you know, we got some work to be done.
TNT's match against the United States was their 5th game in 23 days. Adrian Lazar, TTT Sport.